Men, has another man ever approached your GF wife right in front of you and hit on her? How'd you react? Yes, and the problem was my ex-wife can flirt with a rock. I would wait for her to take care of it, but she would just keep going, almost as if she were playing chicken or really trying to make me uncomfortable. As she eventually cheated on me, I should have seen this as a red flag. Yup. She was pumping gas while I was checking one of the rear tires. He walks right up to her and says, "I'm sorry ma'am, but I love the way you wear them jeans." She just giggled. I popped my head out and said, "That thing's nice, ain't it?" My man lost his marbles. Dude tripped all over himself trying to get away. I felt bad because I wasn't mad. I know how that peach looks in the southern sunlight. I high-fived my lovely lady right after. Yes, she handles it by mentioning me. Also, I walk over and say, "Yes dear. That settles everything." Yeah. I watched as he painfully struck out. I shouted pick-up tips at him like a coach and he actually fucking tried them LMAO. Depends. If he's like The Rock, I will politely say we gotta go. If it's The Rock, I would politely tell my wife to go away so I can have some alone time with The Rock. Yes, it has happened on a few occasions. I let her deal with it, with one exception where a very drunk dude was getting handsy and not backing off when she told him to. Yes, we were buying clothes and I had stepped away to try something on. When I got back to her I found a man hitting on her. I let it play for a little, enjoying how awkward she was as he was not getting the hint, then introduced myself and said, "Sorry mate, she's off the market." We both had a good laugh. It's happened more than the once. If you date attractive women it'll happen from time to time. So that's why my partners have never had to deal with it. Yup, it happened at a big get-together. The guy didn't know us and he decided to shoot his shot. My friend who threw the party went to step in when I held him back and told him to watch it with me. He didn't understand until he sat back with me and realized that my then GF had no goddamn clue that this guy was hitting on her. We sat there for a few minutes as this guy raked himself over the coals to get her swooning, and it was like watching a baseball team's run up nothing but strikeouts lol. I've, 62M, been with the same woman 40 years. My entire post-college adult life. When we were younger my girlfriend, fiancé, wife was way better looking than me, so much so that people did not assume we were a couple unless we were right next to each other. I wasn't in her league. The catty women would whisper, "Why is she with him?" So what Op described happened several times. My woman would shut it down immediately and then move closer to me, maybe hold my arm. My first job after college was a toxic workplace. What was more annoying than people making passes at her with me present was coworkers that would hit on her behind my back. My woman is foreign-born and speaks English as a second language. She has an extremely dim view of infidelity and expects high standards of me as well. I had to grow the F.K. up to keep her. She has a thick accent and so people tended to assume she didn't know what was going on. With shallow acquaintances she would often do a great submissive dumb geisha shtick, totally an act, but she carried it off flawlessly. You only saw her acting like a normal woman if she knew and trusted you. I recognized this behavior and it didn't seem manipulative to me. I grew up in the American South. At that time, many Southern women also had a hyper-feminine Southern belle act for strangers. Only trusted friends and family saw them acting normally. My mother was a Minnesota Yankee, so this kind of two-tier feminine behavior was foreign to her, but it was all over the Southern women on my father's side and in our community. My girl would play ignorant up to a point and then suddenly turn tables, sometimes viciously. She really did not like dishonorable conduct. She never initiated contact with other men, but on the occasions when one of my backstabbing colleagues contacted her behind my back she would lead them on until their intentions were clear, and then she'd shut them down. She'd tell wives or girlfriends if they had them. E.g. a heart of gold female colleague, call her Sarah, had my then girlfriend's phone number. This was 1983 quarters so there were only landlines. A male colleague of mine, call him Mike, name unchanged to implicate the guilty, was senior to me. Mike dispatched me to a mandatory 2-week training course in a city a 5-hour flight away. Once I was gone Mike got my girl's phone number from Sarah with some lame-ass excuse about how he needed to update my girl on my return travel plans. I'm sure Sarah didn't realize his intentions. Mike then called my girl to invite her out. She didn't know which of my colleagues Mike was, so she met him to see who it was. He invited her to stay overnight for breakfast party. She left and then told me all details. I'm sure this was how it played out. And then at the next workplace party she pulled Mike's girlfriend aside to tell her. I couldn't wait to get out of that workplace, and I have always appreciated my wife's uncompromising loyalty. I am a better man for having had her at my side.